big bands and even bigger crowds, Seoul is the place. Welcome to SoundMojo, and today we're exploring the musical side of Seoul. From K-pop to indie music to hip-hop, we're looking at all the colorful tones that make Seoul, South Korea's musical engine. Together with the scenes in Busan and Daegu, Seoul helps drive the industry forward. With K-pop starting to climb up the charts in the West, it's more important than ever to see why Seoul is shaping contemporary genres. Let's take a listen. From tradition to now. Long before the division of Korea into North and South, various genres of traditional music existed throughout the country, known together as kugak. Kugak includes instrumental court music, such as hyangak, as well as boisterous folk music, like pungmul, which would incorporate singing and dancing. You could also hear entire stories in the lyrics and drum beats of pansori, while sanjo would take one song idea and keep speeding it up. The continuous influence of Western and Japanese music would ultimately lead to widely popular sounds that melded genres together. By 1920, styles like Trot saw a new middle ground between crooner pop and traditional performance techniques. Songs like Tears of Mokpo discuss the history behind the genre, which emerged during Japanese colonial rule, while Camellia Lady was banned for a time for sounding too Japanese. This rise of more commercial music facilitated the creation of labels and studios in Seoul, and helped it cement itself as the industrial center for music in the nation. Music venues in Itaewon and Gangnam furthered the musical culture and growth of popular music in the city. Rock, hip-hop, and modern folk all got a Seoul twist to them. Much of this musical history is available at the Hyundai Card Music Library in Seoul to influence new generations. After all of these phases of music, however, the city's biggest success story has been K-pop. How we got to K-pop. Mixing the singer-driven style of Trot and some of the theatrics of Seoul's rock scene, modern K-pop grew into its own by the 1990s. Similar to Japanese pop and boy bands of the era, the music was largely fast-paced dance music with a group of singers. The videos and concerts would mix in a lot of choreography, while the lyrics often involved love and cheeky English phrases. Slowly, hip-hop would influence the sound and look of K-pop too, with many groups including dedicated rappers in their ranks. Sotaeji and the Boys were one of the earliest groups to represent this contemporary style of K-pop, as well as incorporate hip-hop into songs like Come Back Home. Much like Seoul, though, K-pop has shone because it blends so much music into one distinct energy. Fashion has also been at the forefront of the scene, with men going from the baggy mix of clothes in early days to more formal and punk-influenced gear. Women's wear started out looking similar to that of early Britney Spears and Destiny's Child, but has grown more intense stylistically and risque to match the times. With such a range of talents and a strong visual component, the rise of idol culture has been a unique focus of K-pop. Whether simply highlighted or manufactured, aspects of band members' personalities, clothes, and performances are set apart to turn them into celebrities. Idol culture has kept the fan base around the genre excitable and hungry, which is likely why it's amassed hundreds of thousands of fans in recent years. Even the government in South Korea promotes K-pop, given its commercialization and ability to unite people around music. It's worth noting that this is also partly related to the lack of political edge in much of the music, as it's mostly a carefree genre. Despite this, the music has reportedly been blasted from speakers pointed towards the North Korean border as part of ongoing hostilities. The modern shape of K-pop has involved everyone from VIX, DJ DOC, Baby Vox, Big Bang, 2NE1, SES, FX, Tierra, and more. It gained a lot of traction in the West, however, with the release of Seoul's own Gangnam Style by Psy, named after a local neighborhood. The catchy song, bonkers video, and a simple dance that anyone could learn catapulted the song into the mainstream in 2012. The massive star Hyuna appeared in the video as well, having already struck gold with Wonder Girls, 4 Minute, and as a solo artist herself. Acts like SHINee and Girls' Generation have had a strong presence themselves, though neither has matched the late 2010s heights of BTS. Also known as the Bangtan Boys, the group popped up in the wake of Psy's explosion and took all of the best parts of K-pop to their apex. With songs like Mic Drop, BTS quickly became the first K-pop artists with a record atop the Billboard's album charts, as well as many first achievements for non-English acts in the US. Not just Gangnam Style, but every style. K-pop isn't the whole picture, however. As we mentioned, Trot has also played a key role in the music scene, blending singer-pop styles with elements of disco, rock, classical, and traditional Korean elements. It's continued on in various forms since the early 20th century, featuring voices like Lee Mi-ja, Taeho, Nahuna, and Cho Young-pil. Though it dwindled following the 1970s, it's begun to get its own retro revival. Similarly to Busan, Seoul has had a boom of indie rock acts, ranging from the punk rock fun of Crying Nut to the quirky guitar pop of Pee Band. Broccoli, U2, Nine and the Numbers, and Giha and the Faces all took on more blues and jazz styles of soft rock, though the Faces would later add more electronic synth elements too. Woo has stood out by tapping into the lo-fi indie pop sphere found on a lot of Western Bandcamp artists. Gemini have taken traditional instruments into aggressive rock with experimental sounds for intense music reflective of decades of different soul acoustics. For all-out stadium rockers, No Brain brought a punk edge and heavy metal theatrics when many artists were softening their sound. Sotaeji, interestingly, brought his own spin to metal before moving on to rap and K-pop. Artists like Sotaeji and Hyungjin Young helped the hip-hop scene in Seoul flourish right into the new millennium. Though rapping giants like Rain would help boost the genre from outside Seoul, the group influenced a new set of performers. Seoul natives Keith Ape, Tindin, and Ravi developed the local hip-hop sound further as K-pop took on more of its elements. Seoul shines best, however, as a place where genres merge. Just listen to the smooth psych rock and orchestral blends of Shin Jung-hyun. The rock pop scene saw Daegu Kwa blend a lot of Western influences into what was commonly known as Korea's answer to the Beatles. Having said that, you'd also likely hear Seoul's Ad4 hailed as the overall first rock band of South Korea. Sanu Lim forged a similarly influential path through Seoul thanks to their technical prowess and a distinct lack of fear to get weird in their sound. American doo-wop has also gotten a comeback from the Barbarettes, who mix in covers with their own take on vintage pop. Philadelphia's own Michelle Zauner, aka Japanese Breakfast, also came from Seoul, before moving stateside. Between Samchi Sound Festival, Dream, ETP Fest, Dream Concert, and Ultra Korea, you can hear a lot of the tunes that Seoul has to offer and feel the broader range from the country as a whole. Plus, this is just a taste of the overall offerings at larger shows. Korean music is only getting bigger right now, and Seoul is helping show us more of it every day. To hear more about today's best music scenes and cities, subscribe to SoundMojo and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.